Word. Okay, perfect. So, first, before I have Rusty start just pouring into you guys, I've had a few moments with Rusty, and we really recently just met. But the first impression that I was given from him was a message from him, and it was the most endearing message because it was unexpected. And I want to make a note that you guys, when you're hearing people on Zooms, and if they touch you in some way and inspire you or do anything, don't ever hesitate to message them, because sometimes that just is something so uplifting. And so I want to say thank you, Rusty, because that was so sweet, that one day that you took the time to reach out and just voice clip me and tell me that. I just want you guys to know that that goes a long way. And then my other, I guess, second impression.
And when you've got it in your heart, and whatever you do with heart, you'll make it. You can never allow other people to impose their limitations on you, and you never can allow other people to defeat where you're going, because most of those people are just jealous of where you are and what you're trying to achieve. And why that is, because when you set a new standard, you step out into a new standard, you lay a new foundation, and you walk away from the old life, because you start to lose that taste in your mouth of things that's not good for you, and you acquire a new taste in life. As I got my first break in banking, I played ball at Georgia Tech in 1983, um, and dyslexic, and they made me think I was like handicapped in school all the way through. I just learned differently. And when I got to working with Congressman Hunkin over in Washington, D.C., I worked in the banking law department and ended up becoming the marketer of the year in 90 days. And I did that through just sheer relentless desire to succeed and work, because we were very poor at the time. I needed to make some money to get my wife and I out of poverty. And once I got a taste of that I could really succeed, but see, I had to go from who I was hanging around to those upper crust. And I don't think I'm better than anybody. Everybody has the same chance, and just some of our work ethic is different than others. But I got to run around with CEOs and people that were making things happen. They thought different. They had they would give you great ideas. You just capitalize on it. And so went to the top of that bank and got tired of the long commute from North Carolina to Washington, D.C. every Sunday night, coming home on Fridays. And then I got a big offer over in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I become the senior vice president of one of the top 5 banks in the United States of America from the Federal Reserve. And I thought I'd hit my pinnacle in life. I had me a acronym in front of my name. I had a huge salary. And within 2 years, I realized I hated that place. And the reason being, now my 2 little girls are very little. They are involved in children's sports. And this particular year, let me start this part of my story. I'm sitting in my office over in Charlotte, North Carolina. I just flown back in from New Orleans, and my secretary Leslie comes running in the office and said, "Rusty, Ms. Lackey needs to speak to you right now." Both my little girls played ball. I thought one of them fell and broke their arm. That was out of the ordinary. I said, "Robin, what is it?" She said, "You're not going to believe it." I said, "What?" She said, "I found a product where I can lose inches of fat in minutes." I said, "You did what?" And it was the applicator. Pam Souter had sent somebody over here to wrap my wife. They had heard that we're highly successful and that we're a bit unhappy. And I don't know how that traveled. I'm actually from Virginia, where Pam Souter's from. And all our families kind of merged back in the day. And so I said, "Well, praise the Lord. I'm glad somebody found it, sweetheart. I'm good for you." And all she was worried about is the 2 baby pooch. She said, "There's a girl coming to our house on Friday. I'd like for you to be here." This lady come over here. She wrapped my wife and had her and my mother so excited about the results. And I'm like, God, I could be doing anything. I could even be playing golf, and I don't even play that game. But what I did is I took a Sharpie marker when I saw her measure them, and I knew that wasn't marked off. She said it had a 3-day result, and I Sharpied their sides. And because I did the measuring, I followed the instructions to a T. And Robin lost like somewhere around 3 inches the first applicator. She was just ecstatic. My mother had some major results. And the girl kept saying, "Well, it's going to keep working for 3 days." I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, it's great. I'm glad they're happy. You'll have to be back in 3 days if you're going to make me believe it." And she said, "Well, I'll see you on Monday." I grinned at her. I looked at Robin. I said, "Look, you just lost my $25. You ain't going to ever see that girl again." And I said, "I'm glad y'all happy." And me and my little girls, I had a weekend off and we went on having fun about family. And so help me God, Monday morning at 9 o'clock, the doorbell rang. I look out the window, oh my God, Robin said, girl, get 25 more dollars. She needs some gas money today. And I'm making fun of it. And she said, I'm here to prove it to you. And I remeasured. The Sharpie marks were still there. Just it faded, but now she's down somewhere around 4+ inches in her two baby pooch. And I said, well, that's great, great. I mean, if my wife wants to use your product, it tickles me to death. As long as she's happy, I'm all in. She said, why don't you have a losers party? And this is where it all starts. And the losers party is 23 ladies at my home the next Monday night. And I don't know what it is about you ladies for liking to get together and you eat and you bring in cases of wine and some girl walk in with a white box and had 12 bottles of wine in it. And they would eat like they ain't eat all weekend. I said, wow, this is going to be a disaster party. And so I went in my office, called my daddy. I said, look, man, why don't you ride over here and get me? I said, I can't get my four-wheelers out to get over the mountain to see you. I said, but all these women are here and I'm about to go crazy. I'm trapped. He said, I know your mom and your sisters there. I ain't coming over to your house. And I said, well, I appreciate that. And so about an hour later, I heard the office bunch of squealing and hooping and hollering. I said, oh my God, they've drank too much wine. Their product didn't work. They want the money back. They're going to beat that poor girl up. So I run up the steps to where they were. That's when I seen the most excited women that I ever seen. I found out what the result, all 23 ladies had results. And now I get intrigued. I always knew if you found the right product at the right time, you could create a literal fortune. I didn't say make a couple of dollars. I said create a literal fortune. Our organization has created a literal fortune for not us, for about 80 in my organization, literal fortunes. I'm not saying that to brag because that's people of impact. And so I started talking to this girl. I said, what's your contingent plan for overgrowth? She said, I don't know what that is. I said, well, how's your funding? I don't know what that is. I said, when John Q. Public gets a hold of this product, it's going to be on. I said, well, if you don't know, who knows? She said, Mark Pentecost. I read a book about Mark Pentecost. I bought it in an auction in Dallas, Texas. I still have the book in my trophy case with his signature and Cindy's signature in it. I think it was the last copy available that we can find. If I'd buy the rest of them, if I could find them. And I read about his heart and what a great, I said, that the same Mark Pentecost is in the phone deal. She said, yeah, that's him. I said, when can I talk to him? She said, in the morning. Let's make it early. I'll fly out at 11. And next morning, Mark called me on time. And we got to talk, and I set up all night just the possibilities of what could happen because I was very disdained with what I was doing for a living because I was gone all the time. And I'm gone 3 weeks a month. I'm missing my little girls grow up, and ain't nothing more important to me than my wife and my two little girls. Nothing. And I started asking him some crazy questions, like I was doing a corporate takeover. He answered everyone. I talked in circles to see if I could trap him. His answer was still the same. It was very consistent. He said, you gonna do it with me? I said, no, if your company's that good, it's gonna be that good. When I decide to do it, it'll still be that good, huh? Every day for 7.5 months, me and Mark Pentecost had a conversation every day. And here's what pushed me over the edge. Be careful what you ladies pray for. Because sooner or later you'll pray for it. God will send you your answer, but you have to take responsibility when he sends it to you. Winning is not easy. Winning is not free. What you pray for, he presents the opportunity. Now you have to take the responsibility to take that opportunity to make it work. That's where the blessings are released in everything you do. And if you quit prior to it, or you just well, he sent it, you don't want to work for it, you're not going to have it. That's not the way the deal works. And so I called my boss to fly out 3 hours late to see my two little girls get their awards because I missed every ball game. I missed a Christmas church function, and I'm miserable. And so what happened at that point, when I called him, it was on a Thursday afternoon, and the little girl, my daughters, was excited about me coming to the school to see them get their awards. They did very well that year. And I looked at the picture Robin had made on my fireplace mantle, and I saw them and their mother, but I wasn't in it. I said, that's the end of this mess. And when he said I couldn't fly out 3 hours late, I looked at my daughters and said, I'll never miss nothing the rest of your life. I flew in on Sunday. Monday morning, I drove over to Charlotte, North Carolina, went to the top of that big bank, and I fired my boss. And he said, I'm fired. What does that mean? I said, it means I don't work for you no more. He said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to go home and do that fat patch me and you was making fun of. Well, it's network marketing. And he started laughing. I said, it's going to be the biggest thing I ever did. I said, but the other guy's leaving with me too. He said, who is that? I said, my work ethic. I said, if I can do it for you, I can do it for me. And he said, I'll leave your job open for 90 days. I said, no, if that don't work, I ain't coming back. I'll get a job on a trash truck. I'll go back to farming. That's where I was born, in Virginia. And so I had a dilemma. I came all the way home, dry mouth, called my father to come tell Robin what I'd done. My father had zero disrespect for women. That's how I was raised. Zero. Not a bad word, nothing. And that's how I still live with my wife and my daughters now. And I come home, she said, "Why are you home?" And I said, "Because I fired my boss a while ago and I quit." She said, "No, you didn't." I said, "Honest for God, I did." She saw us going back to poverty, to a little mobile home with no food, no lights. We had done that. Now we got two children. I saw me making my break for freedom, period. So when I got my canoe to the island, I burned it. So she's very angry. I know none of you women ever got demon possessed at your husband. You just y'all just have it. I can tell y'all sweet ladies, you never got mad at him. I thought I was gonna have to call an exorcist over here to do an exorcism on her. And she was a green mist enveloped the room. She was levitating off the floor because she was scared. So I went to my office and I called Mark. I said, "Dude, you ready? You really ready to do this?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because I'm gonna do it with you." He said, "You kidding?" I said, "Nope. I'm gonna do it full time." He said, "Explain full time." I said, "I fired the bank a while ago and it's me and you." He said, "You did what?" I said, "Look, Mark, don't get candy ass on me now. I'm in deep. We got to make it work." I had figured out a system in my mind. If I worked that system, that's where your 3 steps to success had come from. If I worked that system consistently and went after it, there's absolutely no way I could fail. All I needed to find some people that had the same vision I did. The first 8 or 10 people I called said no. I didn't care. Planted the seed. Now those 8 or 10 people are all with me today. And here we're 20 years later. And it took them a while to come with me. But I found 5 people that said yes. And we started doing 3-way phone calls and conference calls every hour on the hour. And we'd work 18, 20 hours a day. We worked the time zone. And all we had was the applicator and the facial product and the defining gel. And we took 3 products. And at the end of 28 days, we built a team of 635 people. I become a double diamond. I made $9,997. That's not been done. That's not typical because most people aren't as crazy as I am, but you never put yourself in a position to get crazy. When you're fighting for your 2 little girls and your wife and your life. See, here's what drove me. Every afternoon, Robin would bring my kids home from school. They would bring little peanut butter sandwiches down her silver tray and they had little glasses of milk. They would sit in my office floor and I'd put a headset on and I'd still be talking, loving on them, helping them do their homework. Every night they'd fall asleep in my office. I'd carry them up 2 flights of steps, put them to bed, tell them how much I love them. That was my driving factor. And so some of you say, "Oh, I really want it." Do you really? Do you have what it takes to become a multimillionaire? Do you have what it takes to break the generational curses? Do you have what it takes to transition your life from where you are to where you dreamed you could be? That's all it is, making up your mind to do it. There's absolutely nothing can stop you, but you cannot let people subdivide your thinking. You cannot let people subdivide your time. And you can't keep chasing a bunch of rabbits down different streams. You got to get, and I'm going to tell you to quit your job like I did. I was not broke at that time, far from it, but I got broke. And so we're coming after it good. The second month, we're growing. We've got momentum. The 4th month in, now I'm going to tell you who Mark really is. He called me up and said, we agreed we'd never lie to each other, the good, the bad, the ugly. And he said, "We're broke." I said, "Broke? Well, you fall and break your leg? What do you mean we broke?" He said, "No, we're out of money." I said, "Really?" I said, "What you going to do about it?" He said, "Well, I sold my house. The money will be in the account tomorrow morning. It's going to be about a day late, but I'm going to FedEx you your check." That's when they wrote paper checks. That's the kind of guy. He put his family's way of life on the line, so I got paid. And you can't. There's companies that's tried to buy Rob and I away just because we've been here the longest. You know, they offer 7-figure bonuses, pay you up front. I said, "What made you think our integrity's for sale?" Next week, I'd have to sell me for 50 cents like a crackhead. That's not who we are. We're very loyal. We're loyal to the system. We're loyal to our team. We're loyal to our family. We're loyal to Mark and Cindy. We're loyal to our way of life, but we're loyal to our word. You're no better than what you say. And if your actions don't back up what you say, you're just a liar. That's all it is. And so you have to have radical, massive action to become a 7-figure earner. And I totally believe that everybody on here has the ability to do it. And we were I think we were the first one, like 42 months or something like that, to make the first 7 figures. And that was the hardest. And then the second one wasn't quite as hard because we have a system down pat. And by no way, shape, fashion, or form am I bragging about that. That's the people you impact. That little mommy that needs $500, that needs $1,000. She needs just some money so she don't have to pull her nails and her hair out of the family budget, so she can have a little freedom and a little breathing room at the end of the month. It might be a car payment. It might just be gas money. It might be some groceries. That is the power of working your ass off to become a 7-figure earner. And once you do that, it's the people you've impacted along the way, because you will never do it if your team is not successful. And I'm not saying drag a bunch of dead weight along. I'm find the people that want to go at your pace that you're going now. You never discount nobody, but you get really serious about where you're going, and you cannot procrastinate from where you are to where you're going. So how do you stay in a business 20 years? It's not even about the money no more. It's about seeing people, giving them hope. It's about helping that person get to that next level. It's about recreating the dreams, because the only thing lacking in the world today is people has lost their ability to dream, because they continually and agree to show up for modern day slavery. If you still work a job and they give you a check on Friday or whatever they do in that world today, when you take it to the bank and you sign it or you electronically sign it, you're just agreeing that's all I'm worth. My time is worth just minimum wage, and I'm just okay with that. And you work for the weekend. I work for Monday mornings. You know why? That's why everybody else is work. I'm either at the lake or riding horses down a mountain trail or doing something crazy with my wife and kids. And that's a way of life. That's a new standard that we set. And when you make up your mind, you believe you deserve it, there's absolutely nothing that can stop you. So never allow somebody to impose their limitations on you, or things, or say things that will drag you down, as to where you don't get up and put a conscious effort into what you're doing. And when you make up your mind, you're going to put a conscious effort into it. You have a daily plan of action. And I write a yellow legal pad out, my wife and I, every night, of a priority plan of action of what we're going to accomplish tomorrow. And there's absolutely nothing more important than accomplishing my priority plan of action. See, if you go punch a clock or you show up for a salary, they got you on their plan. If you don't ever get on your plan, you will always work on their plan, and they'll pay you just enough to keep you coming. You'll do just enough to that you don't get fired. Their life is worth more than that. You got to have a why. Now, my why, I got 2 little pictures of my 2 little girls on my steering wheel, on my refrigerator, and on my bathroom mirror. And every time that I would get like, God, I'm tired, it didn't go quite like I wanted it today. And you know what happened? I look at them, and when I looked at them, guess what would happen? I would be reinvigorated, because I'm Papa Bear. I'm the one that's going to take care of those little girls and their mama. And you got to kill me to stop me. And so It Works Global is one of the best companies in the entire world, with the strongest compensation plan in the entire world. I've looked at all of them. I've heard this, that, and the other. And here's what I want you to understand as to where you are. When you can take a snapshot of your before and afters of your physical well-being, and a snapshot of your business and how it's growing. If you ain't got a snapshot, take a snapshot of mine. So in the second year, I got really sick. I found a tumor wrapped around my pituitary. I had to do my 9 months of medical treatment. And once I did the 9 months of medical treatment, they gave me 6 months to live, because with that tumor in a 4-year span, I went from 258 to 750 pounds. And all I've done the last 15 years is I've utilized this product line. I exercise like a beast. I MMA fight. I lift heavy. I do all kinds of crazy stuff. And I work out very hard, but if it wasn't putting the right stuff in my body, I wouldn't be here. And I just had a physical. If any of you saw it on my social media in December the 28th, that little doctor, she said, I got the blood work of an 18-year-old high school kid. I said, you kid. But I've not had a medication in 14 years. So why am I going to stop doing what I'm doing when I know that is working? Now, I want to be healthy for my wife. I want to be healthy for my children. I want to be healthy for the one day. I got a daughter getting married this year. I want to be healthy for the grandson I know is coming. I had all sisters and daughters. I ain't have no grandson. I have no brothers. I mean, I don't have no brothers or whatever. Just me and my German Shepherd here, the only males in our whole family. But I know my grandson is coming. And so when you make up your mind, you're going to become relentless with your desire, your dreams, and your goals. You'll put that kind of action into it from daylight to midnight. If you're that hungry, and the one thing you want to do is take the money you make, focus on getting yourself out of debt. Because when you wake up in the morning, you don't owe nobody nothing. Look at the bonuses he just gave you for your new people. He just extended the codes for several more days. And he's just extended the whole deal. He's always putting you in a position. If you're willing to work, you can win. It don't take years to do it. What it takes is you getting highly focused and getting your ass in gear and making up your mind. I deserve it. It don't matter what your mama said. It don't matter what your daddy said. It don't matter what your preacher said. Your broke uncle, your broke brother-in-law, your broke sister-in-law. It doesn't matter. I had that whole crew against me initially. They was telling me how crazy I was for leaving that big job. And I just asked a family member about 6 months ago. I said, "Hey, I'm flying over to Florida on Monday. I'm going over to the island for a couple of days, and I'm flying right back. You want to go with me?" And he looked at me with a deer in the headlight. I said, "Oh, that's right. You still got a job." And I offered it to you first. Here we are all these years later. And I didn't do it to brag. I did it to make a statement. When you make up your mind, I deserve it. This is what I'm going to do. You just have to go do it. If not, you're going to be building somebody else's dream and you'll just get okay. See, some people would rather live in literal hell because it's familiar, and you'll hit your first little roadblock. And you know what? If you're not going through a struggle right now, you're not growing. That's why I'm a big proponent of reading. Every day I'm reading something of value that still. The older I get, the hungrier I get to learn. The more I thought I knew, the more I found out I don't know. But the hungrier I get to go to the next level, and your check and your business will grow to how you grow up here. And when you make up your mind, you're going to grow up here. There's absolutely nothing can stop you, because that is your shield for all the negative. When people try to impose their limitations on you, you don't accept it. In fact, you don't even hear it. I would train Cammie back when she come in and she started really going, and we would work together every single day. And she called me. She said, "You said you have 100% every brat party, everything you do." I said, "Yeah, I do." She said, "You mean to tell me nobody tells you no?" I said, "If they tell me no, I didn't hear it. I just focus on the yes. I focus on the people that's ready." And some of those no's, it took some of them. I got a lady on here tonight. She's followed me since 2013. She just got in business with me last month. I got people that's known me for years. They're now getting in business with me because the time is right. We're in a pandemic and most people are scared, like, "Oh God, what's going to happen?" No. And at times of adversity, that's when true leaders step up and step out and say, "No, I'm relentless. I will not quit." That's when you become that hope broker that people want to follow you. Because why? Because they believe in you, they trust you, and you breathe into them. And once you breathe that hope into them, they know they can count on you to be there, that you're not going to quit next week and be off to something else. It's kind of like somebody running the food chain restaurant. This week you're working at McDonald's. Next week you're Burger King. You think you can have it your way, and you found out you couldn't. You go to Wendy's or to Taco Bell or all that craziness. But when you make up your mind, I am worth it. And here's what has to happen. You're going to have to fall in love with what you see in the mirror. And you're going to have to be the one to stop lying to yourself every single day. "I'm going to get it done." And then you divert to something else and you ain't going to get it done. You got to make up your mind that you're worth it. You're going to have to take on the mindset of a millionaire, and you'll become a millionaire in here way before you see the money. But if you never come up here, you can get it and it'll all be gone. I promise you. That's how that works. And you know what? What you're going to do when people see you consistently show up, you start to become contagious. And when you start to become contagious, you become courageous. And you know what? You start to breathe life into them. And you'll be like a bad disease. They just can't get rid of it. They can't get enough of you. And you become an addiction. And when you're addicted to where you're going, when it affects your family in a positive manner, there's absolutely nothing that can stop you. See, you have to show up and continually you make that contribution to where you're going. See, if you're not making if you're making a half-ass contribution to where you're going to have a half-ass check. If you're going to make a positive, strong contribution, I promise you, them things will grow. It'll grow humongous. It'll put you on a position that you won't have to get up for nobody else unless you want to get up. But I promise you, when you start to become successful and you start to feel good about you, it's not about the money. I get up at 4 o'clock every day. I go to bed at 11. 4 a.m. I can't sleep past 4 a.m. because I'm not going to allow the sun to come up, and I'm not watching and being thankful for where I am and counting my blessings. I live in the attitude of gratitude that God introduced this lady to my wife. My wife introduced me to them, and then Mark and I, it was like a meeting of destiny, a meeting of the mind. See, you got to be careful what you pray for. See, I prayed for it. I thought I was going to have a lesser job at a smaller bank in town. And God brought me network marketing and Mark Pentecost, a highly successful guy that had a dream and a vision, went broke together and made it right back. But it's because we showed up every single day. It didn't matter how bad yesterday was or how good it was. We showed up with the same vigor and hunger that we needed to carry it to the next level. And we want to put ourselves in a position to make other people be that rock for those other people. See, 90% of winning is showing up. 10% is what the actions that you take. And you got to be an excuse remover. You got to remove everybody's excuse. And they hand you an excuse, you give them a solution for the excuse. And you know what? You ask the right questions and they think they thought of it. And therefore, you're starting to build those people and you build that team. And all you do, you got to be able to show up around the clock to support them until you grow them into that leadership. And then they get the first taste of leadership and they get the first taste of this and see you change the flavor in their mouth. You change your mindset. You start to change things in them they never thought they could. It's because you're reaching in and pulling out that full potential. We all have it. See, this is what I believe. Nobody here is an accident. You know, I don't know. You can't be nowhere else tonight except here. For the people it's here. And I don't even know how many people's here. Don't even matter. See, the day your father's sperm hit your mother's egg, that was a destiny meeting. Out of, they say 9 billion more that's fighting for, you know, you got it. You won to start with. So you start off as, and you're nothing more than a fertilized egg going down your mother's fallopian tube. And God started tossing in gifts and full potentials and everything you need to go out and build this great life that he put here. And you can't build something without struggle. So when you struggle, you get stronger. Out of every adversity lies a siege of an equal or greater benefit. And you will always be blessed in direct proportion for the quality of efforts expended. So you birth into a blueprint. And therefore, that particular blueprint, with all that stuff, see, most people, the richest places on earth is a graveyard. People die with all that full potential because somebody else told them you don't have it, that won't work. And they die with the box and the ribbon still on that gift that God gave you. What is gifts made to do? To give away. You give your gift away, and when you give it away, it always incurs value. You know why? Because the reciprocation comes back to you. When you give it away, that is planting your seeds. When you plant that particular seed, see, the law of reciprocity states, and it is a biblical principle that governs every human being on earth since the conception of time until the last day of time. And it states, if I come into your life and I help make some of consequence happen, it just reciprocates back into my life. But you have to let it flow through you, not just to you. See, if you're doing this, you can't catch a ball, you can't throw a ball, you can't pass, you can't do nothing because you're greedy. And once you let the flow go, the more it comes to you, the more you retain, but the more value you offer, and you're affecting and infecting other people's lives. When you become infectious, this product line is like nothing I've ever seen. You know why? Go look at my before and afters. It's on my medical record too. And you know what? Without this, I don't think I'd be here. And when you make up your mind that I'm worth it, you look at whatever it is, it inspires you. And see, it can't be about the big house, the big cars, the boats. It can't be about all that. Material things come and things go, things fade away. It's about the value you're adding to your family, the value you're adding to your children, the value you're adding to your grandchildren. See, right now, you're training your children and your grandchildren. You're setting the tone for them right now. When you show up every day, you're teaching them to be entrepreneur spirited, entrepreneur minded. Or you just show up, bitch, whine, and complain about it. That's all they're going to be. They're going to always be a lot of talkers. They're not doers. And then once it gets hard, they're going to quit. You know what? Well, mama quit when it got hard. Daddy quit when it got hard. No, daddy manned up over here and he slung and swung. Even when they said I was 750 pounds, they said, you got 6 months to live. I felt sorry for myself about 3 days. And my father come to my house when he was alive. He picked my foot up, my legs just swelled up so big in the cast. It had extreme lymphedema. And then I said, what are you doing? I'm dying. He said, I'm looking for an expiration date. Expiration date. I said, you mean like going to the grocery store and looking in the dairy? He said, yeah, you don't have one. Then he turned around and left. I told my little girls, I said, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I ain't gonna never lie to you, but I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. If I die, I won't be a victim. I'll be slinging and swinging. I'll fall dead in the yard or making it up the road because I'm gonna get moving. And I have the best products available for human consumption on the planet. That's a proven fact. That's a matter of firsthand knowledge, matter of fact. And when you make up your mind, this is what we gonna do. And when you start that, you're gonna have some people that you attract. It's gonna be supposed to be in your tribe. And when you attract those people, you start winning together. See, I played football a lot of years. Every man on your team or every lady on your team has a position, and that position has to be, you have to execute that position. That means you're making a big contribution, but you don't get to play on Friday night or on Saturday afternoon if you didn't work your butt off during practice. And you know how practice was for the teams I played for? They wasn't, we just started in July and we worked through August and we was ready to play. I said, no. As soon as the last game was over, that next Monday morning, we was back in there working hard because we wanted to win another championship. We was working even harder. And we had a internal competition going on, how we was going to do it. And we started game planning how we was going to beat those particular teams again. In the last year I played in Lexington, North Carolina, those first 10 games, our team, we had been playing together so long, we had minus yards rushing for the first 10 games. We devastated. We wasn't, yes, it wasn't, we were better than the guys. We conditioned all year. We were stronger, we could last longer, and we took it to them all night long. And we loved that. I'm gonna bring it to you all night long. See, when you make up your mind, I'm gonna give it to this business all night long, every second I got. And you know, when we first started with no social media, we had cell phones. We didn't really know what they were. Wasn't nothing. And we had P256K modem. It was so slow, but we thought it was fast. And we had to stop and do pay phone calls, all kinds of wild stuff. And now you got little phones. Y'all can sit around in a coffee shop or whatever you want to do and make this thing happen. You got boards, you got everything for you at a finger's touch. Man, we built it the hard way, but we built the foundation, that solid thing y'all get to enjoy now. You know, if I pull my shirt off, I can show you a back full of arrows and scars where we took it. I've been through the crashes of software. I've been through the product shortages. I've been through things that was crazy. And I've been through the 3 biggest runs we've ever had. But here's where we are today. And I'm excited that I never quit. Had plenty of chances. I said, Mark, if you ain't quit, I ain't quit. In fact, I'll refinance my house and I'll send you all that money because I believe in you. So here's where we are. We're walking into the 4th biggest run we've ever had in the history of this company. You think it was worth 20 years? You think it was worth 20 years for this? Yeah, it was worth it. So I'm going to tell you this story and I'm going to be done. My grandfather, I'm the 4th generation firstborn. My grandfather fought for General George Patton. And I get all the medals and all the stuff that he had. So since I'm the firstborn, he was showing me these medals I was going to get one day when in his passing. And we went through these cases of him. He's telling me how he got all these medals. And wow. And he said, I was a warrior and my fuel was unconditional love. And it got to the last 3 little medals, the Purple Heart, and a couple more. I had to pull them out of my safe and look at them. And I said, how'd you get those? And he got real distant on me real quick. And I looked down and said, you all right? He said, yeah. So he had to take other people's lives. And he told me all the ways that he had to do it because I was real inquisitive. You know, I'm the firstborn. I think I deserve to know. I said, how'd you do it? Because a while ago we was talking about unconditional love. He said, that was my fuel. He said, the love of your grandmother, the love of your father, I knew one day you were coming. And he said, I put it all on the line right then for you because I knew you was coming. And that means a whole lot to me that somebody before I got here was fighting for my freedom. And see, I told you all ago I didn't have any brothers, I didn't have any sons, but my little girl's getting married, so I know my grandson is coming in 18 months to a couple years, hopefully. So I'm willing to put it all on the line right now, every fiber in my being to work harder than I've ever worked in my 20-year history because I know it's coming. So I want to ask you something right now. For what you love most and you hold dear, are you willing to put it all on the line right this minute for the best future you've ever had? For residual income, see, I ain't never missed a check in 20 years of what I did the very first month. It only grew. It grew and it grew and it grew off of the work ethic right then. That's why I love residual income. That means making money while you sleep. So I want to ask you, what do you know is going to be here in the next 18 months to 2 years? What are you willing to do to fight for that and put it all on the line now? Because it will materialize just sure as you're on this Zoom right here. There's absolutely nothing can stop that from happening except you. And the only way that happens is you quit. Or you slow up, or you listen to somebody that's giving you great advice that ain't got 2 nickels to rub together. Can you imagine? You know all the broke people in the world? They got the best financial advice. They just can't apply it to their own life. Can you imagine? It's like 2 years ago, we run every morning around 4 o'clock, 4:30. My daughters and I, we run with a group here in our county. And it's my oldest little girl invited some girl she works with. She's a little blonde-headed girl, and I don't have much to say in the morning. I'm just getting my mind right because those 20-mile runs are crazy. But see, that's all in the mind too. And I said, well, welcome to our team. I said, what do you do for a living? She said, I'm a psychologist. Really? In what field? She said, actually, I'm a marriage counselor. I said, wow, really? I said, you married? She said, oh, no. I said, really? I said, you ever been married? She said, yeah, 3 times. I said, what are you telling those people you counseling? God Almighty, you done tried it 3 times. You can't make it work. How are you going to make somebody else make it work? And she got really angry. She said, are you married? I said, well, I've been with her mother at that point like 39 years. I said, yes, ma'am. Same little girl. Ain't never even dated another. She said, well, how did you do it? I said, well, I had to become a great king to find the extra great queen. And I said, I treat her with the same respect. We're still in the honeymoon phase, and she's my best friend. And I don't need anything other than her. Nothing. I just want to make what we have better. Because see, she stuck with me through thick and thin. We're very poor. She could have left, went back to her mother's. I was very sick, got big as a damn cow. She had to do things for me that you don't want your sweetheart to do for you. So I can't do enough for her. But that's the difference between true love. And here's the last story. My father said, son, you got to be a man of your word. You honor your word. If it costs you now, it pays dividends later, big dividends. And it come a big snow in North Carolina. And I come home from school and I said, Daddy, I need the keys to the truck. I told this person I'm coming to their house. Their grandmama cooks pork chops on Thursday night, and I'm getting homemade biscuits like my grandmama used to do when I lived on the farm in Virginia. And I told her, he said, you seen the weather? I said, yes, sir. I said, but I gave him my word. And I kept on about the keys. He said, well, look, walking in crowded. And I said, okay, it ain't. And it angered me for a minute. So I put my Carhartts on, my hunting boots, and all the stuff I do when I go out on these trips hunting. And I went to the edge of his driveway, and he was in the window just waving like, sure, you're going to walk in all that snow. It's knee deep. This person lived 9 miles from my house, and he's still just waving. I said, he don't think I'll do it. So I took off in a trot. By the time I got to downtown Lexington, to the old courthouse where they used to have wooden phone poles, and then it wasn't cell phones, it was just pay phones. They didn't have any up there. I'm about to freeze to death. I leaned up against the phone pole. I said, I must be the dumbest guy in the world. And then I changed what I was thinking about. What I was focusing on. I was focusing on seeing this person. I said I was coming, eating them pork chops, those biscuits. I started focusing on the fire and the fun. The next 4.5 miles, I didn't even feel it. So I got there. They helped me out of my boots and my Carhartts. I got in front of the fire. They made this hot chocolate. The food was great. And it gets about 10 o'clock. I got to go home. You don't stay over at nobody's house back in those days because he would come and get you. About that time, this little girl's uncle knocked on the door. He just bought a new CJ5 Jeep. He said, where are you going? I said, well, I got to walk home. My daddy is expecting me. He said, man, jump the Jeep. I'll take you. I said, you really take me home? Yeah. He said, I'm out playing in the snow. So he took me about 200 yards away from my father's house. And I said, stop, let me out. He said, no. I said, no, you can never tell him you brought me home. Never. I got to the edge of the driveway. I laid down in the snow. I put it all over my toboggan. I walked in like I'd come out of the Civil War. You know, you've seen those pictures. I said, you think I'd do it? You said, honor your word at all costs. It paid dividends later. So here's the dividend. I could have allowed all the elements of the weather got in my way. I could have made up my mind that no, it ain't worth it. I'm going to turn around and quit. I'm going to go back. So what did that get me? Well, the same little girl, 42 years, 2 beautiful children, took care of me while I was sick, stayed with me while I was poor. And now I cannot do enough for her. I said, well, what if I'd have just turned and quit? What if I'd have just gave up? That's what the average people do. But we ain't average. Ain't nobody here average. You know, when you make up your mind that you ain't average, this is what we're going to do. It don't make a damn what the elements of the weather are bringing, what the economy's doing, what this COVID, this pandemic's doing. It don't matter. You're going to seize the moment. You're going to step up and step out, and you're going to fulfill that leadership for those people. And you're going to be that light of positivity. You're going to take all their excuses away, all their fears away. And you know what? You're going to conquer everything you can. Right now, you've not even dreamed big enough to where this is going to take you. But you got to make up your mind. I'm taking ownership of my life. I'm going to put it all on the line right now because I know this day is coming. And so when you make up your mind, you're going after your freedom. Going after your freedom is the most noble thing you'll ever do. See, I ain't never liked nobody telling me what to do. I want to help as many people as I can get free. That's why we never quit. So you know what? When you make up your mind, I'm after my freedom, scale the fence. I'm on the other side with a getaway car. The fence is kind of tall, and they're going to send the dogs after you. Jump in my truck. We'll take off. We'll make the dogs choke on the dust. And I'll tell you what, I'll throw it up in reverse. We'll back over a couple of them dogs, and we'll let them know you don't mess with us. That's just the way it is. And see, can you envision this right now? The time comes when that alarm clock goes off. And there again, I've not woke up an alarm clock in 20 years, and I'll start tomorrow. But that alarm, big old Ben, he starts swelling on your bedstand, and this is his last hurrah. And you make up your mind right now, it's over. You pick up Big Ben, put your house coat on, put your combat boots on, you run out back, you crush him with a hammer, you dig a hole, put him in a Buster Brown box, brain, put a cross on it, run back into bed. And can you see your house coat sailing as you run back? And you pull the sheets up to your chin, and you're done it. You've done it. you've gained your freedom. Your children are more confident. They're going to be free too. And when you decide to take a family trip during the school year to France or Spain or wherever it is you're going to go, you write them out of school, they get to go with you. You've done it. You're impacting your community in a way that they just don't understand it, but you've got the one that can effectively communicate your story. And when you start to effectively communicate your story on a consistent, persistent basis, there's absolutely nothing in this world can stop you except you. So get rid of all the excuses you're making. If you're in a bad situation now and poverty is stricken on your back and you just don't feel like you can get ahead, you need to go look in the mirror. Why is that? It's no more than whatever you participated in. It's not paying you. You're serving that bad habit, or those, you become a slave to it. And so when you make up your mind, I'm going to participate with the people, and I'm going to participate in the activity that serves me. I'm going to make my money work for me. I'm not going to keep working for money. And when you have that mindset, that twist ain't happening just right now. The light goes off and you go after it. And you don't make excuses to why you can't get it done. And you don't procrastinate, which is a satanic ritual. If you're a procrastinator, it is a satanic ritual. Get your ass up like you're going to work for the man, but you work for you, and you work harder for you than you ever did for him. You know what? And when you make that break, you're going to take a bunch of people with you. And when you start to take people with you, there's not a more better feeling in this world than you've done it. But you help some other people do it. And instead, a lot of people say they want it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. They're always looking for the easy way. There ain't no damn easy way out to make $1 million. This ain't. You can have all those systems in the world, but you know what? I still pick up the phone and make hundreds of calls a week, calling people, calling my customers, calling you people, call. Oh, I got to do social. Ain't nothing wrong with social media. But in the end, if you're not doing the follow up and the follow through, well, I feel sorry for you, because this thing, like Mark said the other night, this thing is slowly turning back around to going back to build it like we used to, because people are dying to build those personal relationships now. They love it when you call them and you care enough about them that they make a difference. And don't be the first one or waiting on somebody to say, I love you first, or how you doing. Be the one that initiates that. Every day at 4 o'clock, there's certain people I initiate how much I care about them, how much they mean to me, and how valuable they are as soon as my feet hit the floor. You know why? Because if that's the last communication I ever have with them, I want to know, I want to be that person of impact. I want them to know I'm going to say it first. I ain't waiting on you. That's what stupid people do. Initiate this thing, make the exposure, make the contribution, and watch where you'll be in the next 30 days. Watch where you'll be at the end of the year. Watch where you'll be in 5 years. And see, any of y'all ever go to first grade? Did y'all do pretty good in school, first grade? Put a 1 in the chat if you did pretty good in first grade. Really? Yeah, okay. Wow. A lot of people did real good in the first grade. I need to ask you this. Why didn't they put you in the 8th grade the next year? Really? You did so good in the first grade because you would have failed out. You have to go through the process to grow. You know how quick 10 years is? I've been here 20, but when you remember being 10 years old, it's quick. Remember at 16, you couldn't wait to get there, and it's quick, it's gone. You want to gain something, what, your freedom? At 16, your little driver's license. Any of y'all got children? See some kids? I remember the first time Robin come home, she said, we're going to have a baby. Oh, God, that's the day I lost my job. We got poor. And I said, a baby. So she had some serious problems, but it was 9 months of gestation. I felt as much pain as she did, but I felt sorry for her. She's having problems. But the day that baby was born, you think she thought about any of those problems, that bundle of joy coming in her life? No. That's just where it began. Yeah. Then you help the baby to get to where she walked and where she could say, Dad, Mama. And then the next thing you know, she's a year old and 2-year-old. Now she's 30 years old and we're still being her parents. So what I'm trying to tell you, your business is like having children. You birth it, you take care of it to the best of your ability and over and above, and you cultivate and you help that kid grow into the first grade, into the second grade, and you follow the process. And see, every time it gets hard, you don't throw your hands up. No, God has put that there because he's trying to mature you up to the next level. Everybody would like to have ambassador pay. He'll give it here. And see, with that kind of pay is much more responsibility. So you have to grow through the ranks in order to mature yourself up so you can handle the responsibility, so you know what to do with the money when you get it. Most people, if they gave you the bonuses all at one time, you'd all be broke in 2 weeks. It'd all be gone. You'd buy Louis Vuittons and all that silly stuff. Louis got enough money. Don't go waste your money on that. that ain't nothing but trying to let Louis define who you are. And I hope he's listening. And so, you know, make up your mind that you're going to do this thing the right. See, what you're doing is you're setting the example for your family. You're setting the example for your children. You're setting an example for a lot of other people. And when they say you stay consistent on the course, it's not about your position. It's about your disposition. Your disposition is how you live your life every single day. Can people count on what you say? Are you consistently showing up and showing out? That means that your work ethic is unparalleled to anything else they're used to. It's refreshing to a lot of people to see that you're showing up every single day with them or without them, with them or without them. And next thing you know, God starts to send the right people into your life. He starts to send the right people to your team. He starts to send those people to be watching you all those years to where you're going. And see, what you don't want to do, don't make an excuse to why you can't run your autoship on the first. Don't make an excuse to why you can't complete the steps to success every month, minimum. Don't make an excuse why you can't. All you know is you're going to do it. We're going to do it. And you don't quit till it's done. I don't care if it's the last minute or the last day of the month, but you need to start working on the first day like it is the last day. Because why? That's not, the month is not the big a deal. It's where you're going. It's what's the foundation you're laying to set you up for the future. If you're not futuristic about your actions today, you'll never have nothing in the future. Oh, you'll have plenty of excuses. But there again, excuses is nothing that you allowed other people to put those limitations on you. And you'd rather live in literal hell and go back to your comfort zone because of excuse zone. And you sit right there, and next thing you know, 10 years has gone by, 20 years has gone by, and you wake up one day and you're 70 years old and you ain't got nothing. And you could have had it all. It's just you wasted your time. When you invest your time into things, into your priorities, you'll always get a return. If you're just spending your time, I promise you one thing, you're physically broke, you're mentally broke, and you're financially broke because you're just spending it. It has no value. You're being taught into a particular system. It's taught you to be an employee when you should be entrepreneur minded and going after this business like you just spent $3 million on a McDonald's restaurant, or you just opened up a bit and now you got that much exposure and much that liability there. Oh, you got now, you're putting people in for $39, $100, and you can take $100 and make more money than the guy that owns those chains of restaurants. You can take that $39 and make more money than the average lawyer or the average doctor in the United States of America. And you can do it from the confines of your home and your cell phone. Just you got to get busy. You cannot let things stand in your way. You've got to show up to go up. And if you're not showing up every day, don't cry and whine about your business. It's your business. You can do it any way you want to. It's yours. You paid for it. See, you're in business, in your own business, but you're not in business by yourself. You got a multitude of people, upline, downline, sideline, cross line. It is willing to come in and help you. And say, I don't have an upline. I just got Mark. And he don't want to hear why it can't get done. All he's used to doing is seeing it get done and showing up every day. But you know what? It's the best decision I ever made. You know what? It set me free. I got to grow up with my kids. I got all these memories that we never missed another school function. We're always doing things, everything together. Now you tell me that ain't living life to the fullest. All right. Anything else? We want to do questions?
Wow, yeah, I had tears in my eyes. So for most of that, Rusty, of way with words, very much so. And I appreciate that because that touched me. And then I was looking at all of you on this right now tonight that just got to experience that with him, and all I can think is all of those dreams and all that. I don't know, just I was thinking so many points there about each one of you, like looking at the faces that I could see, and I'm like, Ashley and Tara and Melissa and Carrie and Joe and Tanya, you guys, how incredible. Yes, please in the chat show the graciousness that we have for him tonight. And I would love to ask a few questions, you guys. So if you would like to unmute and ask a question, please feel free to do that. I'm going to turn that feature on now for you. And let's see, there we go. Okay, so go ahead and just hop on in. You can do it yourself if you're able to.
Don't be shy. It's a family here now.
All right, I'm gonna hop in. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
You are awesome. You have such a genuineness about yourself and such a familiarity. My family's from West Virginia.
Oh, I'm
So maybe
sorry.
that's it. I want to ask you what it was my grandpa. What in the past 20 years, would you change anything that you did business wise?
No.
I love that. So just firm. I love it. I think that you're such an amazing example of what longevity looks like and consistency looks like. And I'm just so grateful that you came on tonight to share your story with us. It was really, it was moving.
My pleasure. If I want to add something to what you said, if you got something that's working, why would you change it? I'm gonna tell you what, I don't care what you're trying to do. You can't get away from the basics that make it happen. I don't care what avenue or click funnel or post to post, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. Everybody I know that's in the multi-million-dollar earners in the banks and in insurance, I still have connections with all those people. And I asked a girl that worked for me back in the day, her name is Benita. I said, how you still doing it? She said, smiling and down like you told us to do back at the bank. We're still building relationships. You can build whatever relationship you want to through social media. And again, I am not knocking it. But if you really build that voice, that person can hear the reflection in your voice that you really care, that you're really, like you just stated, genuine. You have them forever. They won't just be with you 90 days or 6 months, and they're all, you built something that's solid. That relationship turns into more like a family. And I promise you, it's all going to run its course. But if you start working like we work now, and I do some social media, not as much as some of y'all do it, but then I think they said there's like 1 million people in my organization with a customer base, over 1 million. I don't know. I don't keep up with it. All I do is I show up every day. And I'm going to show up for and see, we don't know what you need if you're not calling. Like Pam's here. She's killing it. And our families have been friends since 1994. Her husband was in banking with me. And now they're out here, they're literally killing it. We're all learning a little bit about social media, a little bit we do. But I'm big on 3-way phone calls, conference calls, private Zooms, picking up the phone, let you know how much I care about you. What can I do to help create a solution for your problem? And see, I ask a lot of questions, and then that validates the person that I'm not trying to sell you something. You don't come across as salesy. Oh, it takes a little bit longer, but it's a hell of a lot more solid, and I get to see the numbers. So anyway, whatever. If that makes any sense.
Oh, I love that. Does anyone else have any questions at all? Oh, I hear someone unmuting.
Hey, I still got a question. So,
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
when you don't want to give up on somebody, but you know you have to, what would you do?
Say that one more time.
When you want to give up on somebody, but you know you have to, what would you do in that situation?
Well, you remember when I said something a while ago about investing time? I just invest a little bit less time with them because they're not respecting my time. And I see, we all have 24 hours in a day. Tonight at midnight, it's going to be over and we can't get it back. And so if you're going to piss my time away, I really don't take kindness for weakness. I don't have any problem cutting you loose and letting you know why. And I'll run the gamut with you, because I think if I continue to believe in you, there's a chance that you might come on, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time with you. I'm going to find somebody that values my time, and I'm the one that sets the value on it. And talking a ball game, you can talk all you want to, but if you're not putting the action to it, I don't mind calling BS real quick. And so when you get ready, let me know, and I'll keep you in the loop of what's happening. But until you make up your mind that you're worth it, and you stop everything that's standing in your way, and see, most sabotage is self-inflicted. I'm just not going to let you self-inflict the sabotage in me as well. It's going to cut you loose quick, really. But I'll still let you know when I got Zooms or whatever. And see, as long as I let you know and I keep you in the loop of what's happening, I've been working like hell with everybody else. It's going to happen. It's entirely up to you if you utilize it. It's there. There it is for you. And well, I'm busy and I had this happening, and I get the oil change, and I had to mow the yard, and I got to put the mulch out and all that other stuff. Well, then you haven't defined why you're here, and you don't have a vision for where you're going, but you'll be the first one to make a lot of excuses. Now, I don't mind calling BS on the excuses too, because you got to be what I say a while ago, an excuse. That's John Addison, the co-CEO of Primerica, one who wrote a great book, a good friend of mine. He said, you got to be an excuse remover. And most people, you're exactly where you are right now, physically, financially, or whatever in your business, because you just made a lot of excuses. You started to believe your own lies. That's what it is. Just a damn excuse. I will believe my own lies. So if they're become a drain on you, just block them out of your phone, block them out of your life, and they'll see you on the street when why'd you block me? Because you had no value to offer. You were sucking me dry. If I have to get up and give you an adrenaline shot every day, I don't need you. You don't need me. You're going to end up draining me, and I'm not going to allow that to happen. Because every day I will have the best day I've ever had. I'm going to go out and I'm going to create some new territory. I'm adventurous. I want to go out and meet some new people and inspire new people. And it's not about you getting in business with me or you becoming my customer. I want to build a relationship with you. I just want to say one thing. It'll make you think. You might not even remember my name, but you will remember how I made you feel. It's going to be positive. And if it has to go the other way, you'll remember that too. You remember I do MMA fight. And so I kind of like that. I would drive off before I'd fight with you. Don't follow me to the truck. It'd be a bad afternoon. I ain't saying that to brag. I love to have fun. I love humor. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Awesome.
My pleasure.
I'm so proud of you, Trent, for asking and for unmuting yourself. I know that was one of the out of the comfort zone things for you, so I'm so proud of you for doing that. Joanna, one last thing real quick.
Yeah, it's just a short one. I just wanted to ask if you could recommend one book, what would that be?
Relentless. That's what I'm reading now, and that's the best book I've ever read, and that excludes the Bible. And I'll tell you why, because I do know Michael Jordan. I got his numbers in my phone because we did Make-A-Wish Foundation, my wife and I, and that was one of our charities. And a little boy named Glenn, that was his goal, is to play golf with Michael Jordan. So Make-A-Wish got us all together, and I got to meet him, and we were out playing golf, and I was on the cart with his father. And he was just Michael. I saw how Michael poured into him, and the questions the little boy asked. He had exploratory surgeries, and Michael Jordan is relentless, and because he never let good stand in his way of becoming great, and he didn't let great stand in his way of becoming the best. And that's unarguably he's the best. And this little boy had all these surgeries, and he lived 2 years past that. And my accountant's wife called me one morning. She's a nurse at Brenner's Hospital, and he died. He had a fever. But I remember we had a Super Bowl party. I got like Brad McAdams. He's a quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. And another quarterback from Jeff, I forget his last name. They showed up to the restaurant where we had like a little dinner. And Brad asked Glenn, the little boy, said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" He said, "I'm probably not going to grow up. They tell me I'm going to die." And he said, "No, we don't know that. I mean, there's all kinds of," and he said, "But what would you be if that don't happen?" He said, "I want to be a doctor." He said, "Why would you want to be a doctor?" He said, "So I can find a cure for this disease I got, because my little sister died 2 years ago with the same disease." I'm a pretty tough guy. I had to go into the bathroom, lock myself in a stall, and I cried like a baby. There's 2 parents sitting over there. They lost their little girl. Their little boy is fighting. He's got more vigor, more life than any adult I've ever seen. More pep to go after what he wanted, and not scared to just that little 14 years and lived up to the fullest, and had so many surgeries. He looked like a little monster. And so, I'm not saying that bad, but for him to have that much life and that much care, but I can only imagine what those parents are going through. And I want to tell you something. If you're making excuses and you're using your children as an excuse, well, I got to go here. Don't. That will come back and get you. And when I see those parents, they don't have any kids, and I've had the ability to be a full-time daddy to 2 healthy kids. If you ever see me on hunting trips, that's my daughters that are with me. The horse riding, that's my daughters and my wife with me. I'm so into family. My wife still demands every night at supper, everybody comes to the table, you leave your cell phone over yonder. and we're gonna be family. We're gonna find out how your day's been. See, that in the end, that's what you got is most important. But if you piss your time away and um, and you're not self-developing, see, I don't have to ask my kids to go work out. They every day we're all in it. I don't have to ask them to read Relentless. The day I bought this, they bought theirs, and we all read the same things, and then we discuss it. And so right now, I think Amazon's got it for like $12 or something, or the podcast, and it comes with it. Amazon's got that. But anyway, um, that will twist things in your brain. It'll bring stuff out of you. It'll create what I call the warrior mentality. And so when you have the warrior mentality, that means you're going to do what? Adversity does not scare you. And when something hard comes your way through the unconditional love of what you hold dearest in your life, you'll man up and wage war on it. I got a story I tell you, and to how my family was. My father was actually a Baptist minister for 55 years, and I was about 14 or 15 years old. It was the Monday morning, about 2 a.m. It's in the wintertime. My father come into my bedroom and he had the lights off. He said, "Somebody's breaking in our house." He said, "Get your guns." I got my shotgun, and he had one. I said, "We're gonna wait here for him to come in." He said, "No, son, we're gonna go out and get them." I went out one door, he went out the other, and sure enough, when I walked around the corner, in his carport, they had a tire tool trying to jig the door, and it's something about the sound of a pump shotgun that makes you freeze. And I could see them; they froze in time, and they took off running down the hayfield beside his house, and I started shooting under their feet. I was kicking dirt up on them. And I said, "Daddy, you want me to go ahead and take them out?" He said, "No, son, don't do it." And I asked him when we got back in, I said, "Why didn't you go ahead and, we had the rights, they own our land." And he said, "I want them to go back and tell the story. They're not gonna wait for you to get in there. They're gonna come out and get you." And I told you that particular story. You can't wait for this to happen. You gotta go out and you gotta be aggressively pursuing it, aggressively pursuing solutions for people's problems, physically and financially. And one leads the other. And when you help somebody with a product line that helps them, that is a hot market. In 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 months, they're going to become a great distributor because they've done what? They have developed the story. The most important thing you can do is develop a product story. There's nothing in our line that you can't develop a story. The skincare is great. I've lost all this weight. There ain't no wrinkles on my face. I guess you know why that is. I do facials every week. I drink collagen. I do hair, skin, and nails. And Nasty, if I smear that stuff on me like it's whipped cream, because Dr. Nasty is a great guy. I had the privilege of meeting him several times. And so you can't argue about the nutrition. I ain't been sick of no medications in 14 years. I've lost 500 pounds. You can't put it, our weight loss stuff don't work. You got to engage and take it. You got to participate. You got to make your contribution to it. And then if you're doing that and you're feeding the mind along with it, like with this particular book, ain't nothing can stop you except you or death. I plan on being here a long time, healthy a long time. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it
Yes.
does.
Wait, who's next?
Oh, I got a message actually. And she was worried we were out of time, and she had a quick question for you too.
Sure.
Go ahead, Melissa.
First of all, thank you so much for everything that you said tonight, because I think I needed to hear a lot of that. And I really love your story. Everything is like, I'm from Oklahoma, so not from Virginia, but I really like I like everything that you said. The question that I had for you was about developing people, because that seems to be the thing that I'm struggling the most with. I just hit Emerald last month, and so right now I've been trying to develop my leadership. So I just wonder what advice you had for that.
Well, the people that really want it, they'll follow the pace of the leader. If you're setting the pace and you're reading a book, in my private groups, this is the book I'm reading, and I can tell if you're reading it or not. I can tell in how you talk. I can tell in your actions. I can tell in our conversations if your vocabulary is going to the next level. And I am going to recommend something that's free for you, if that's okay, Chantel. You have to commit to it, and you find the person that wants it, the person that's got the audacious goals but taking the audacious action. It's not giving you a bunch of damn excuses. And so this is what we're going to do. And I'm like, yes, if you tell me this is what we're going to get to do at this time, I'm sitting here waiting on you to get it done at this time. And don't come up, oh, I forgot to call you, or I forgot this. No, you're working your way out of getting to participate with us. And so because you're not valuing my time, because you're not, if you don't value your time, you're not going to, they'll not value yours. And so make up your mind, either you want it or you don't. Hey, good old boys are good old boys, but good old boys don't always get it done. You know, and if you got a person that's consistently allowing whatever to come up, stuff that don't even mean nothing. If you had a job working for a boss, would that same thing hinder you from doing this business? Yeah. And if they're not willing to work as hard as you do at night after they get off work, well, you know, I'm not saying we can't cultivate them to that, but find out who really wants it and who's really willing to grow. That's the whole thing. You got to grow into this business, and this business will grow. But if you're not growing to the magnitude of your business, it'll run off and leave you. And so I'm all about reading. I'm all about first day of the month auto ship. I'm all about your before and afters, your physical before and afters, or whatever product you're using, your skincare before and afters, and that we're always about the before and afters. Because if you don't have an after, you didn't start. You all got the befores. But if they can't see in 30, 60, 90 days of your afters, you're not using the product. So we had a guy in our group very early on. He said, well, I just sell a lot of it. I don't even take it. I said, well, you won't be with us long because you're going to run your course. Because when you fall in love with something that works for you, you don't mind sharing it with people. I didn't say sell it. I said share it. There's a difference between selling and telling and sharing. Once you tell me what your problem is, I'll try to share a solution through my story. You remember how when we was young, they do bedtime stories. They tell you about Goldilocks and the three bears, and they tell you about the three little pigs or whatever. Every one of those fables has something of value in it, and you never forgot it. Like the three little pigs, don't build your house with sand or sticks, build it with bricks, because it's solid. Every one of those fables are meant so you can apply the value of it. They told you what you shouldn't do, and then they told you what you should do to alleviate what you should have done to start with. And so when you share your story, but you share solutions, we know if you have a weight problem, then we have what we call Skinny Brew Coffee, gummies, and ThermoFight X. And one of the products is, in the case studies, 31 pounds of fat in 90 days. But if they take all three of them, guess what's going to happen? I'm pretty sure they're going to get up the 31 plus. But they're going to love the way they feel. They're going to love the way they look. Everybody's looking for something where they can feel better about what they see in the mirror. If it's your skincare, if it's just your physical well-being, feeling better, you know, you need to utilize celery greens and reds. You know, we do that stuff and hydrate. You won't cramp. If you work out like we do, you know the reds are essential for the nitric oxide. It expands the blood vessels. You know, the hydrate it gives you all the nutrients, minerals, and the vitamins. And the minerals where your water absorbs into hydrating you, and therefore you won't cramp. It's real simple. We have a product line that fits every human being on earth. If you effectively share the solution for the problem, and you know what, always point and click to your information on your website. Don't act like you got to know everything. They ask me, how's that rap verse? Shit, I don't know. It just works. Put it on. You'll see too. And, you know, and you point and click, let them read the information. In the event they become your customer, in the event they become your teammate or your business partner, you're going to have taught them to use the information at hand to let that do the talking for you. And some people get in, well, I got to study it. I'm a yellow, green, whatever, the one that's got to study everything, and I got to know. Well, just use it so you can develop the story. That's what you know. And you know what? When you utilize everything we have at hand, I don't see why most people just make it too hard on themselves. As most people, they try to sell it, they talk too damn much. They're trying to go right to what it does, right to the sale, just blah, blah, and they just vomit all over everybody. So if you have that problem, I'm not saying you do, stop puking on everybody. So you get them to the point they're ready, then you talk them right out of it. And then well, I got to think about it. Then when they tell you that, well, I got to do well, you've talked too much. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I've experienced in 20 years. Who's next? I hope that answered your question.
That was
It did. Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
That was a really great answer. And I want to just really quick piggyback off that. And please let me know if you do have another question, can you put it in the chat so that I know after I say this. you know, I learned something yesterday. I learned about this this website where it was telling us how there are I think it was three, how many was it? 3 billion or 3 million? No, it had to have been 3 billion Google searches a day on questions about certain things. And the whole point of this task was to make a post on Facebook that answered people's question. And using this tool, you're able to see what people ask a lot about. So let's, for example, say energy. You can literally search the word energy into this website, and it is called let's see, it's Answer the Public. And you get 2 searches a day, but you can find what those questions are. Now, you don't, that's not the goal, is to find the question. The goal is to actually make posts that answer the questions that people are asking about the products that you have, about the solutions that the products that you have offer, because that's what people want to hear. Is they want to know, how are these things going to help them? And when you're able to kind of know what kind of questions are being asked, then it's not up to us to ask the questions, it's up to us to answer other people and the questions that are out there about hair, skin, nails, health, your energy, your weight, your skin, what all of the things that we have. I mean, obviously we have so many products, so there are so many people out there asking so many questions, asking for solutions to Google, when we can be that search engine for them, and we can give that answer and that solution to them without them having to use Google as their, how do I find this? How do I get better? How do I figure out how to get more energy without having to do Red Bulls every day? You know, things like that. I just want to throw that out there because that's so valuable to offer solutions. And I feel like solutions are such a huge part of this business, not only to give others solutions, but to find solutions and know that on the other side of somebody who wants to find a solution is somebody who's going to be successful. So I saw one question in the chat. And again, just so you guys know what that is, called Answer the Public, is where you can kind of find some questions, but keep it focused. So don't get like too crazy over there.
Will you send that to me?
Yeah, it's called answerthepublic.com. Oh, can I send it to you? Yeah, I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Let me make a statement. I just got a hold of something that's really helped our business streamline it. It's a QR code business card. It works on all social media, but it's a video card. I met a guy in Charlotte, North Carolina. I believe I met you the first time in Charlotte. And I'll send you my business card, and people can scan it. And let me show it. I keep it on the back of my phone, so I quit ordering paper business cards, and I ordered this one right here.
You know what? I think one of my girls knows about that and told me about this, Melissa, right?
Well, I was spending all this money on business cards, and I asked my wife, and how much response do you reckon I get? God, I can't remember. I said, well, that tells me a lot. And I met a girl I hadn't seen in the real estate business yesterday. I had to go to the grocery store for my mother. Our wife and I, we take care of our mothers. They're 80 plus years old. And she said, God, how your skin? And she's a big time realtor. I said, well, I use Dr. Nastive stuff, botched. She said, you're kidding. I said, no, I don't kid about that. She said, I need to get it. I said, well, here, we offer it. And I said, here, scan my card. And while I'm in the grocery store talking to her, she bought her total order was like $600 and some dollars. Right in the grocery store. I didn't even know she was ordering until it binged in my phone. I said, did you just make an order? She said, yeah, I want my skin to look like yours. I said, but you're younger than me. She said, but I don't look it. I said, well, that's only in the eyes of the beholder. I said, I think you look great. And this year took a toll on her. But that business card has changed everything. Bam. And I wasn't going to share that to nobody but my team. But, I really got to really like Chantel. And I'll send it to you if you want to. And then if you're seeing the value of it, what I'll do is I'll send you the person's name on the company that I got it from. And I'll never buy another paper business card. And I think Pam and some of these other people are using it, and it's streamlined. It's got me giving a video talking about the business and the products, and it's got like the product catalog on it. I never seen anything like it. I said, well, shoot, I'll invest just to see what'll happen. Best thing I ever did.
I think I think it's such a great tool, especially because everybody has the phone. And I like that it streamlines it to a video. because that can just open up to so many other possibilities. Yeah, please send that to me. Send me the name.
They put your before and afters, and he told me, he said if I had better before and afters in 90 days, he'd send me another one with my fresh before and afters on it. I said, dude, you got me. So my wife got one, I got one, my daughter's got one, several of my groups are using it, and we love it. Made life easy for us.
Yeah, and I remember when I heard her tell me about something about you can scan this card. I really didn't entirely understand the concept, but hearing it in like that more of a virtual, like I was at the grocery store, you're able to just literally walk up and there's so much more on it than of just your information. That's what's really great,
Yeah.
is that you can really add so much more to it.
And he had me to do a video where I personalized what I wanted to say, and I'm the first, and I direct him. If you were looking for weight loss, click below. If you're looking for a side hustle, click below on the chart. And he's got videos of different products, and then the little videos, he captured them from the It Works apps, and bam, there it is. I thought, life just keeps getting better.
It really does, because we have all these videos in Connect and things, and with our samples, when you send a sample, you can send a video, and you could probably really attach so many of those resources to that.
Well, everything I need is attached to it, even for selling my samples, the whole deal. It's all there. It's a one-stop shop, and it brands me.
Mm-hmm. I
That's
love
what
that. I will
I send it to you in Messenger, whatever you want to do with. If you want the guy's name or the company's name, I'll send to the guy I got it from.
I love it. Yeah.
But I've seen sales increase with customers and reps in the last 3 weeks. Like, wow, okay, it's cool.
That's a lot. That's a really impacting thing for not having it for that long. So if you're seeing the results, then there's your tip, you guys. There's a big little, you know, I
And I
don't
was
know.
going to save that just for my group.
What's that?
I was going to save that just for my team, but
Thank
you
you
know,
for sharing
we're
it.
all family. We're all family.
I know. I'm like thinking one team, one mission, and then you hear something, you're like, guys, I have to tell you. But I always feel better when I tell them first, and then I'm like, okay, now I need everybody to hear it. So, I see. Let's see. Speaking to my sister and business coach, love that. So that's helping. Let's see. I saw one. I think. Okay. If you can just answer, I'm just grateful if you could only understand what's in my heart for you right now. If you can answer this last question, and then we will let you go and spend the rest of your night with your family, and then I'll probably talk to you after this too. But how long, Kendra wanted to ask, how long do you stay close to your newbies in the beginning? And I'm assuming she means how long do you almost hold hands, because usually that's what we do at the beginning. We really stay close to them, teach them very much. So she wants to know, I'm assuming, at what point do you leave it up to them to take initiative?
I start winging them off relatively quick, but I'm here 100%. Even like Melody McFarland, I still support her to the Now, I'm supposed to be on that other team Zoom right now, but I got my leaders to take over so I can honor my word with you. And so it becomes a family ship, not a friendship. And then what happens when we help them to start develop, and I call it a transfer of leadership. When you get a team started, I just kind of nudge more on you, but I still support with private Zooms or private calls, and I still nudge. So, and I like to do 3 ways, because you understand, you hear the questions I ask, and it becomes second nature just to become a question asker. What's important to you? What are you after here? Oh, really? How much weight you need to lose? Wow, okay. And see, I've got a pretty good story physically, and I got a great story financially, but I don't know what's important to them. So what's important to me is not important to you. But the one thing I found that is important is how you look, how you feel, and your family. And so if I can take and help create a solution right now for that person, even in business, and I help them just kind of work with them, and I never ever quit working with anybody. And next thing you know, they get the confidence they need to just kind of spread their wings and start. And you better not show up in a place I'm speaking at, and I see you there, because I'm gonna work it around, get the microphone in your hand, and I'm gonna go sit down or go to the bathroom or something. And say, here, take it. And that's just the way it is. And the one thing on some of my Zooms, when we cut the recordings, I do what we're doing now, and I have people just to tell me their story. What do you like best? What's your favorite product? And where do you want to be? And then we spend about another 30, 40 minutes letting the people, just like you're doing now, come on and tell your story. So see this pen right here? Ain't nothing special about it. Right now, I want everybody to pull the pen out, and now you write your comeback story. And you're gonna start tonight. The story after yesterday is just your story, but now you want to write the comeback story of where you're going. And if I can get you journaling along with your reading, and you write your success to where you're going to be between now and the end of the year or the end of the month, and you start writing that down, once you commit it to paper, something triggers here, and you start to gain the confidence. And all it is, we're going to sit there and build you up, give you hope until you gain the confidence to branch out on your own. And I swear I'll throw it to you in a second, and I'll put you right on the spot, and you're going to tell your story. And it don't matter if you stumble through it or you lose your thought. That's real. That happens to everybody. And so once you understand it, hey, I'm going to do the best I can. So if I mess up, well, everybody else is messing up. They're not looking for the guy or the gal that's perfect. You know, the worst thing that ever happened is when you got these filters, they can make you look different. And when they meet you out there, you didn't look like you did on that. Uh-huh. So what you're doing is living a lie. So with me, what you see is what you get. I'm kind of raw to the point. What you see is what you get. I don't know how to be. I call it, I don't want to be what they call hypocritical. I just want you to understand this is the package. You get all of it. And it's one thing about it, you have to make up your mind once you get a raw person like me. I'll be the first one to show up and fight right beside you. I won't back down. I don't even know how to do that. Once you conquer that thing what it's called death, and they say it's over, just go home and give up, and I call bullshit on it. No, it ain't over. It's over for you because you took me as far as you could do, and that's when I fired the doctors. This is all y'all can do. It's all you've been trained to do. You can't go any further because you're not willing to try something new or take a risk or take a chance. And I am, because it's me. And I figured if I took my own risk and my own chance, I could get you to take a chance on you, and I could nudge you and push you, because the only thing that you got is like you have unlimited potential. Everything you have is unlimited. The only limit you have is the limit you allow other people to put on you. Believe it. And if I can get you to quit wasting your time during the course of a day and making excuses and just sitting around staring at damn Facebook and looking out the window or watching TV, God, the average sitcom is designed for the mentality of a 6-year-old. You're sitting in a lazy boy recliner with a never expanding posture, feeding your mind children stuff. I don't even turn it on. I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't care what their opinions are. And by the way, I stopped participating in all that stuff 20 years ago. I just did. I'm not going to, don't get me wrong, we pay our fair share of taxes, but I don't participate in somebody trying to create a narrative to lie to me, to get me persuaded over somewhere else. No, I create my own destiny. You know how you do it? You show up every day. No matter damn how you feel, how you think you look, it don't matter. We're all a work in progress, and it ain't over till we're over. So what I'd like for you to do in your comeback story, if you journal a paragraph, write the definition of who you believe you are today, and write the definition, and be honest. If that's what you think, be honest with you. And then write that on the audacious definition beside your name in a year from now, who you're going to be. And every day you make that 2 journals, and you watch yourself grow into who you're going to be. I lecture at 6 major colleges because of the books I write, and I always do it for free to these kids that want to become entrepreneurs. And that's the first thing I do, get them being honest with themselves. But then never and dream very big as to where we're going to go. And that means you're going to have to break some generational curses and some family issues. I no longer participate in that. I'm going to do something different. How many of you want to be the first person in your family makes $1 million? Raise your hand or put a 2 in the chat. I was the first in my family. Yeah. And I'm not going to be the last, because I put the fire to the rest of them. And so when you make up your mind you're going to be the first, that means you're going to have to stop participating in things that you used to participate in. You're going to have to step up, step out, and step into something else. Step into your destiny. And nobody will have to ask you to read. Nobody will have to ask you to share your story. Nobody will have to ask you to do the post. Nobody will have to ask you to make the 10 phone calls a day to your customers, 10 to your potential distributors, and 10 to the you already got. And I'll tell you something else. When people start to break loose in that leadership, you won't have to call them every day. They'll start to call you. When they're hungry to go where they're going, they'll call you. I got some people that call me every day. Me and Pam, if we talk 10 times a day, we don't talk every day, 7 days a week. Because she's hungry, she's on fire, she's growing, she has a reason. Her why just become her wow. It's that little grandbaby she's got, and I'm jealous. I saw him the other night, her and her granddaddy, Larry, was having a pillow fight. And I said, shit, why you showing me that? I ain't got no grandkid. I got to go and beat my dog with a pillow. And I can't wait because I know my grandson is coming. I'm going to be a whole different person when he gets here. Pillow fight, whatever he wants. He's going to be one spoiled child. Does that make sense? Yes.
You got tears in your eyes. So I think she's absolutely got a lot from that. I think more than she even expected. You guys, I want to tell you something. I have had when I got the opportunity to be part of his team Zoom last week, I wasn't done. I was like, I need more Rusty. And I went over to his page. And so I want you guys to know, because I have a feeling everybody else feels the same way, that he goes live on his Facebook page. So there is more Rusty for you. And you can go on to all these lives. And so something else just to thank you for doing that, because I know that your time is valuable. And we're so grateful that you gave it to us. But thank you also for what you've done already on live videos, because we have an endless supply of you on your Facebook page. But I also still want to make sure that we get to stay connected and close to you, because I want that. I don't only want the live videos. I still want to make sure we get some sort of connection with you, and know that goes both ways, because you've made an impact tonight. I can tell you that with just the faces, and for myself, you have just unleashed a lot of things, I think, within us. So thank you so much for that.
I'm so glad I could just inspire you, be just a little bit of help or hope or whatever. And if you follow me on my Facebook page, I normally go live 4 or 5 times a week around 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, right before I go across the street to work out. And I try to have fresh content every day. That means I have to get up and be on my A game to bring you fresh content, because all I want to do is see you grow. I want to see your children. I want to see the impact. And I was talking to Chantel the other day, and we started talking about these kids, and she talked about the house. And I already found you a realtor for North Carolina anyway. And a good one, somebody I trust. And when you want to make that transition, but I started looking at the kids, the little girl, and she's dressed like her mother. If I can do one thing to help you and your husband go to the next level, it's the impact on her and her children later in life. It's all worth it now. And so, I mean, it's not about the money. I don't give a damn whose team you own. We're a big family. It's like a family reunion. You just got to make up your mind. You're going to be an adult, and you're going to come after it. Ain't nothing going to stop you. And so I got one last thing to say, and then I got to go take my dog for a run. Duke is my German Shepherd. I flew in from Germany.
Oh,
He's my guard dog. It takes care of the family when I ain't at home. Who is kidnapping your time away from your children, or who you love most? Who do you voluntarily go into modern day slavery that you allow to kidnap your kids away from you? If you're not making it to the school function, who are you allowing to do that? That's the one thing that I had to fight with, and then my boss wanted to be such an ass. No, because I said so. And I told him, I said, I appreciate you for what you said, because you made me realize what's most important to me, and it ain't you. It's my 2 little girls. And I ain't never go back. And by the way, food for thought, in 2010, he had to join my organization where he got fired when the banking deal got turned upside down. And my little girls, my baby daughter, y'all meet Sam one day. She's the female version of me, Raw. She's my real hunter. Me and her do crazy stuff together. And she said, Daddy, I want you to make it as rough on him as he made it on you and me and my sister. I ain't gonna do it. I said, I'm going to treat him like I treat everybody else. Unconditional love, unconditional courage, unconditional everything else. I will not stoop to his level. She said, oh, I didn't think about it like that. I said, I'm not a driver. I'm a leader. And if I can lead him into that next position, now that he don't have an acronym in front of his name, I'm not real sure how he's going to make it. And he fought really good for a while, and then I had to get compliance to send him a termination letter because he was participating in things that's not conducive to my value system and not for our company either. Just don't tolerate it. And so make up your mind that you're worth it. You're going to take the necessary actions. You're not going to make any more excuses of sleeping 15 more minutes. Don't let the sun catch your ass in the bed. Just don't. If you're going to become a 7-figure earner, you never let the sun catch you in the bed. You're up and you're meeting your day with your devotions, with your journaling, with your reading, with drinking your skinny brew coffee, with your exercise every day is a must. I got guys that drive an hour and a half just to work out with us, one way. I'm not bragging. It's what we do to encourage each other while we're there, and we take it to the next level. You know why? Because we want to get better. The day you think you've got it, you're the best, and you got it all hung, is the day you're going to be broken every way, sick, poor, and broke. But the day you take pride, I drive some pretty nice vehicles, and they get the best service, the guys clean them up, I mean, shine them, all that kind of crazy mess. So most people take better care of their dogs and their cars than they do themselves. If you become a liability to your family because you didn't take care of you, what happens? Well, you're a liability. You need to make up your mind. I'm going to be an asset to my family. I'm going to be an asset in my physical well-being, my appearance. I'm going to be an asset in get up and lead my family. I'm going to be an asset in getting us debt free. I'm going to be an asset in total freedom. But I'm going to take care of me. Nobody will have to ask me to get my ass up every morning and go get it. And when you do that, you set the pace for the family. Everybody else will start to follow you into that healthy lifestyle, healthy mindset, healthy lifestyle, polluted mindset, polluted lifestyle. It all runs hand in glove. It's like a clash. You get it all going one way, and once you get your toe up on it and you get the momentum going, guess what begins to happen? You start to create that momentum, and you keep feeding it. You keep feeding it. You keep feeding it. You'll have people that fall off along the way. They said they want it, but they couldn't handle the heat. That they got one too many no's or whatever. They want to lay in bed and eat chocolate pie, whatever. And the more successful you get, you'll find you'll get more discipline in certain things that really matter, because that discipline comes from creating a priority list. I can only get 3 priorities done a day. If you make it to my priority list, we're gonna get it done today. And it's a daily plan of action. That's 7 days a week. And so you're going to have to operate and work like a millionaire before you become one. And you have to create that maturity that you have the discipline to get up and go through those particular rituals that every one of us are practicing rituals. You're either practicing rituals that serve you, or you're practicing rituals that you serve. And so there's a hell of a difference, but it's only just a mindset, just a decision away from changing everything in your life. And when you work through the process, you create the momentum, you build the foundation, and you start to impact people in a particular way that they've never been impacted. Because I believe there's people right now on your phone or in your influence that they're just needing you to show up and make the phone call. And you can't keep calling the 6 same damn dead people. They're dead. Like the graveyard, all that potential out there dead. All the songs that could have got wrote, the cures for diseases, all the things that could have got built, the books that got wrote, the songs that could have been sung, they let it die with them because what somebody else they thought. And you know what? Whatever you think people think about you, they ain't thinking about you. They think about themselves. And I wonder what they think. Who gives a shit what they think? I don't. And the more you care about what somebody else thinks, and see, that's all in the figment of your imagination. And when you make up your mind, they're not really thinking about you. They got other things more important than you to think about the way you look and what you're doing, your little business on the side. And so it is a very freeing experience when you make that break for freedom. Because when you start to set the pace, now you're going to have people that's going to be jealous, and most of it's going to be your family. They don't want you to succeed. They don't want you to show them up and leave them far behind. But you know what? Like them 2 little girls I see, I guess there's 2 little girls I see right there. That's the same thing that set me on fire. My 2 little girls about that age. You mama bears can get all upset and y'all vicious. But you get Papa Bear tipped on the other side, he ain't gonna be vicious. They won't even, he'll erase the memory that you ever was on planet Earth. When you make up your mind to go at it at that magnitude, you will create a foundation for them and a wealth for them that will impact y'all for generations to come. There'll be millionaire mindset because of the rituals that you practice. They see you do right now. The biggest influence on children is the mama, then the daddy, and then the grandparents. The biggest influence you have on the what you say you love most is right there. I don't care if your kids are 30 years old and 20 something like my other one. I still have an impact on them. You know why? Because I'm supposed to be somewhere else tonight, but they know Thursday night is my Zoom night. I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna be right here to do what? What I said I was gonna do in the very beginning. Stay here, support people around the clock. If that's what it takes, that's what we do. And that's give us a pretty good lifestyle. No alarm clocks. I tell you what, if you're really serious about it, take your ball peen hammer and beat your alarm clock to death right now. It's a very freeing experience.
I love that.
Yeah.
I want to make a real quick promise to all of you guys on here that I'm grateful for the opportunity to do this, but I can tell you right now, obviously Parker here and Harper just ran in. They just caught some ladybugs, a lot of them, and they're the reason why I do this, and it's strong enough to make sure that I know that the impact that I make and that you make to somebody else is incredibly huge. And I will continue to fight to always find and be around and meet people that I can also bring into you, and continue to let one impact create another, to create another, to create another, so that we can all have this domino effect of just impact, because that's what it is all about. And it all starts with why you want to succeed, why you want to make sure that this works, because of whatever it is that you cannot let be an option, the thing that you need it to be. Like, it can't be, maybe this can happen. I wrote something down, sometimes we settle, we're right here and we're like, that's my why, but you don't actually think you can get there. You just think it's an option, but the dream is an option. You think it's just made up. You think that would be great. And that would be great. That has to be why you're going to do it, because you're going to go there. You're going to get to that point. You're going to have that dream. That's not just going to be, I wish I could, I wish I had this and this and this, and I wish my life looked this way. That is what you're going to do. You're going to make sure it looks that way, because it's not just, I guess I might have to settle. You don't have to fail. You don't have to settle. This isn't something, if you're in a place that you don't want to be, you don't have to just think that that is where you have to stay. And you don't have to convince yourself that I don't need much, because it's not about, I don't need much. It's about, you need more, you deserve more. And the people in your future, like he was talking about, in 18 months, in 2 years, in 18 years, those people are counting on you, on me, on Rusty, on every single person on here and more. And it's up to us on whether or not we're going to actually take that action, stay loyal to yourself, your commitment, your why. And I'm telling you, the impact that the people alone on this call tonight will make is going to be huge. So thank you again so much, Rusty. I'm going to let you go walk your dogs now that we took such a big part of your time. I'll probably text you. I'll text you later, and maybe I'll call you tomorrow so that you can rest. I know you're on the East Coast, but thank you all for hopping on. And I'm going to post this recording so that you can share it with anybody who wasn't able to get on. But thank you again, Rusty.
My pleasure.
A great night.
If you'll send that recording over, I'd like to re-listen to it anyway. And look, guys, I want you to know one thing. I love you. You're valuable. You matter to me. And until tomorrow, make this the best night you've ever had.
Yes. Thank you, guys.